So if you have a weight loss goal, one thing that you need to think about is the way that your body excretes fat from the body, right? So your body fat is basically just built up carbon. And the way that things that happen to get rid of that is you have to, guess what? breathe out, breathe out carbon dioxide. But we're breathing too much. And rarely are people extending their exhale to the point where they have no air left in them. And so when you actually think about it, the reason why we breathe is one, to get oxygen in. That's where the conversation stops in a lot of cases. It's like, oh, we need oxygen, but it's also getting rid of metabolic waste. And so when you're breathing through your nose specifically and you focus on a complete exhale, you will give yourself the best possible chance to lose a little bit of weight in the process. You're going to strengthen your lungs, you're going to feel better, have better posture, and overall just have more energy. And so often is that we think about like, oh, we need to do breath counting or whatever. All those things are useful, but where we kind of blow it is like everything else throughout the day. Is oftentimes we breathe upper chest, we take nice shallow breaths, and we don't always exhale completely, and it's always through our mouth, and it's never a satisfying breath to the body, and the exhale is the most important part. So what I what I've began to do and what I challenge you to do is breathe only through your nose. And I used to do this when I still lived at my parents when I did this, and I read this book called The Oxygen Advantage, and he talks about mouth taping. And so we didn't have any like nice tape in the house, and so I went and I got my dad's duct tape, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, I read the book, and I was like, all right, I put it on, and I shared a bathroom with my parents at the time, so it's like I walked down the hallway, and it was like 3 in the morning, and my dad kind of looked at me, he was like, oh. I had like duct tape on my mouth. He's like, what? Who did I raise? Like, what am I doing? And so we're sitting at the breakfast table the next morning. He's like, so you want to tell me what the hell you were doing last night? Anyway, so and so after, I woke up and I tried to take the tape off, and it was a pain in the ass. It got stuck to my beard. It was really, really difficult. So I don't recommend doing that. Mouth taping is like the extreme. Like if you want to get like the maximal benefit out of this, it's something you could think about. My recommendation would just be anytime you're doing something aerobic, like a walk, or you're doing some house cleaning, just focus on house cleaning. Focus on breathing specifically through the nose. And that's going to help with nitric oxide production throughout the body. You're going to have a more elevated mood. And obviously, I'm not saying don't take a deep breath. Oftentimes, is that calming sensation will help, but don't just breathe in. Make sure you exhale completely. And then even try to hold that exhale, because that's going to be the thing that trains your lungs and gets rid of the most amount of waste and helps you feel better and helps your mood improve in the long term as well as the short term. Like there's obviously short term benefits. Like if you do this with me, right now, is if you wanted to do a relaxing breath count, which is a 4-second inhale. So you go 4 seconds in through your nose. So a 7-second hold, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then an 8-second exhale. And then make sure you try to get every last molecule of air out of your lungs. And then hold that for 8. Just kidding. Hold it for 2 seconds. No, you're not supposed to hold that last one. But anyways, all that to say is that when you think about, okay, well, how can I get more energy throughout the day? Obviously, number one, you got to be sleeping right, you got to be eating right, exercising. But breathing is something that we do all the time, and it's something that we're just keep messing up. And so there's no perfect way to do this. They've studied like a whole bunch of different people who have what they consider to be above average health markers throughout the world. They always found that like Tibetan monks, like people who practice meditation, obviously have a relatively sound breathing structure. They have great posture and things like that. And they found that on average, a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale is the most efficient throughout the day. But none of us do that. We always take short breaths. Like you can even tell if I were to watch this video back, I'd probably have taken an inhale and an exhale through my mouth like multiple times just because I was speaking. So practical application of this is stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth throughout the day, all day, every day, 3 times a day, and twice on weekends. And then keep it there. That's really it, right? And then that's going to force you to breathe through your nose. I always sleep with a nose strip on. It helps pull my nose open so that I'm forced or more helpful to breathe through my nose. So if you're waking up with a dry mouth, you're thirsty, all these other things, is that like you breathe out so much water while you're sleeping if you are breathing through your mouth, whereas if you breathe through your nose, if you want to take it a step further, you can try the mouth tape. 3M surgical tape is obviously the correct option for that. put some mouth tape on, put a nose strip on, and it's like Bob's your uncle, sleep apnea. You won't be snoring. You won't be. It's just it is actually a game changer. So I'm not saying go tape your mouth, but if you want to get real weird, and if your partner is cool with it, you can try it. I'm on my way to the drugstore to go get some because I forgot how beneficial it was, and then I did it last night with a little bit of Scotch tape. And the first 2 hours of my sleep, it stayed on, and it was very restful, very peaceful, and my heart rate was lower in those 2 hours. Correlation to that could be like my first 2 hours of sleep are always the best 2 hours. So I don't really know, but I want to test it. This is something that I'm going to play with, going to work with. So if it's interesting to you and you want to get a little bit more energy, you want to feel more optimized, this is another implementation that you can have that literally no work required, right? Like when you go into bed, you're and a nose strip, and it's like, and then you look like you're about to, I don't know, there's probably a joke in there somewhere, but that's really it. If you want to improve your function, improve your energy, improve your nitric oxide flow, which we all know that's good for, go ahead, try it out.